We depend on news organizations to be our eyes and ears in a complex world, but what happens when those eyes and ears belong to the very elites who shape that world? Can a news organization truly hold the powerful accountable when its own interests are intertwined with those it's supposed to scrutinize? This is the question we must ask when examining CNN, a network often positioned as a bastion of journalistic integrity, yet deeply embedded within the global elite. The news should be a platform for diverse voices, a space for critical examination of power, and a bulwark against misinformation. However, the increasing concentration of media ownership, coupled with the revolving door between newsrooms and elite circles, raises concerns about who truly controls the narrative. Are we getting the full picture or just a carefully curated version that serves the interests of the few? CNN boasts a roster of high-profile anchors, many of whom have deep ties to powerful institutions and individuals. These connections extend beyond mere social acquaintances. They often involve memberships in exclusive organizations and participation in events attended by the global elite. For instance, some CNN anchors are members of the Council on Foreign Relations, a think tank known for its influence on U.S. foreign policy, while others have been spotted rubbing shoulders with billionaires and heads of state at the World Economic Forum in Davos. These connections raise legitimate concerns about potential conflicts of interest. Can journalists who break bread with the global elite truly hold them accountable? Or do these relationships foster a culture of deference and self-censorship, where critical reporting on the powerful is subtly discouraged? To understand CNN's potential biases, we must follow the money. CNN, like any other media organization, relies on funding to operate. A significant portion of this funding comes from advertising revenue, with major corporations and financial institutions being some of the biggest spenders. Additionally, CNN has received funding from foundations and philanthropic organizations with their own agendas and areas of interest. This dependence on corporate sponsors and wealthy donors raises crucial questions about editorial independence. Can a news organization truly bite the hand that feeds it? Are there unspoken pressures to avoid stories that might upset major advertisers or alienate wealthy benefactors? Section 4. Silencing dissent, censorship, and narrative control. While outright censorship might be rare, there are more subtle ways to control the narrative. One such way is through the selective omission of information, choosing not to cover certain stories or perspectives that might challenge the prevailing narrative. Another method is framing, presenting information in a way that subtly guides the audience towards a particular conclusion. Critics argue that CNN has engaged in both selective omission and framing, particularly when it comes to coverage of issues like economic inequality, corporate power, and U.S. foreign policy. They point to instances where critical voices have been sidelined, dissenting opinions have been minimized, and complex issues have been reduced to simplistic narratives that align with the interests of the powerful. Section 5. The illusion of objectivity, structural biases at CNN. News organizations often claim to be objective, presenting just the facts. However, true objectivity is elusive. Every newsroom operates within a particular social, political, and economic context, and these contexts inevitably shape editorial decisions. At CNN, the structural biases are evident. The network's ownership structure, its reliance on corporate advertisers, and the elite affiliations of its anchors and executives all contribute to a particular worldview. One that tends to favor the status quo, uphold existing power structures, and downplay systemic issues that challenge the interests of the global elite.